which is rational expressions. Okay. So last part of P4. We are going to start with simplifying an expression. So simplify. Let's say you have x times 1 minus 2x to the negative 3 seconds. And then I'm going to add to it 1 minus 2x to the negative 1 half. Can I combine those terms? Can I simplify that? Can you simplify that? Do they have the same powers? The same bases in the power? Yeah. Yes. So because they have the same base in the power, because they have the same numerator, I can break this down and I can start to simplify some things. What you want to look for is you want to factor out the, you want to start by factoring out the common factor with the lesser exponent. Okay? Factor out the common factor with the lesser exponent. So I'm going to factor it to say, parentheses, 1 minus 2x to the negative 3 seconds. Okay? And then you are going to put in brackets x plus, okay, because I have this x here and I'm adding it still, to 1 minus 2x to the negative 1 half minus 3 seconds. Okay, minus a negative 3 seconds. Because that is already made. When I do that, I'm going to be able to get some stuff to start canceling out or working for me. Okay, so I wanted to factor out the lesser exponent. Why is negative 3 seconds the lesser exponent? Yes, because it's farther away from 0. So you got to start thinking that way. Because in your head you're thinking 3 seconds is larger than 1 half, but it's not in this case because it's negative. So I factor that out. When I factor that out, I then just take everything else and put it in brackets and put the symbol with it, what happens, and then I'm going to add these exponents up top. When I do that, okay, when I add those exponents up top, what do you end up getting? 1. I end up getting 1. Okay, because negative half and 3 seconds is 2 over 2, which gives me 1. Okay, that's good to know. What is anything to the first power? Itself. Itself. Okay. So it's itself. So if I were to solve this inside here, okay, my next step, I'm still going to bring this down, negative 3 seconds, and then I have times, what is x plus negative 2x? X plus negative 2x. Yeah, negative x. So if I simplify what's inside of here, I have 1 minus x. Okay? What do I know about exponents? They cannot be what? And if they're negative, what do you do with them? Put them on the bottom or on the top. You flip where they're at. So then I have to finish this by saying 1 minus x over 1 minus 2x to the 3 seconds like that. And that is my final simplified version of that problem. So step 1 is you factor out the lesser exponent, and then from there it's just a process of memorization and steps. Simplifying another expression. Let's look at this. Simplify this. Parentheses, 4 minus x squared to the 1 half plus x squared 4 minus x squared to the negative 1/2, okay, over 4 minus x squared. Okay, so if we're going to simplify this,
Oh, that was on camera.
if we're going to simplify this, okay, then we have to start by doing what? You have to, yes, pull out, factor out the lesser exponent. What is the, well, what is the, this one's a fraction, right? So what is the lesser exponent in this would be negative half, right? Okay, but because this is a fraction, in order for us to do anything, we want to get, in here, we want to multiply stuff so that we can simplify what we're doing. So if I look at my exponents, okay, I'm going to end up multiplying everything on top and bottom, okay, by 4 minus x squared to the 1/2 over 4 minus x squared to the 1/2. Okay, if I can do that, I can cancel things out. Because I know that when I multiply exponents, things that have exponents, what do you do with that? When I have a power, when I have something that I'm multiplying together, what do I do with the powers? You add them. So what is negative half and positive half? 0. And 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. That's why I chose to multiply by a half and not negative half. Because here it's going to end up canceling out to give me 0. If you had multiplied by a negative half, that's fine, because this one would cancel out and this one would become 1, but then you have a negative half in the bottom, and you don't want to deal with that, okay? So that's why in this case, even though the lesser is negative half, I chose a half because I'm using some common sense to help me out, okay? And I'll still get the same answer either way. This will just be less steps. So when I multiply this unit by this unit, I end up getting 4 minus x squared to what power? 1. And then I have plus x squared times 4 minus x squared to what power? 0. Good. On bottom, I end up getting 4 minus x squared to what power? What technically is here power-wise? Oh, what? Yeah, that's, well, yes, that would be 2 over 2 here, because it would be a whole, right? This technically has a power of 1 right here, which in this case is 2 over 2. So what's 2 over 2 plus 1 over 2? So down here I get the power of 3 seconds. Okay? Now, from there, I can keep simplifying a little further, because here I'm going to have 4 minus x squared. When it's to the first, I just get 4 minus x squared. Here, that becomes 1, so I get plus x, right? Okay. 4 minus x squared plus x, and on bottom I have over 4 minus x squared to the 3 seconds. What happens up top? What happens with 4 minus x squared plus x squared? They just, yeah, these two just cancel, right? So my final solution, or my final simplified version, is 4 over 4 minus x squared to the 3 seconds. Okay. Wait, one more thing, and then we will move on. We will have some homework. Okay, rewriting difference of quotients. Okay, rewriting difference of quotients. Let's say that you have this. You have radical x plus h minus radical x over h, okay? So when I rewrite this, that means I want to get the radicals out of the top and move them down to the bottom, okay? How do you get rid of radicals? You square them, or I multiply them by the opposite so that they'll cancel each other out. So I'm going to multiply this because this says minus. I'm going to multiply it by x plus h plus radical x over x plus h plus radical x. So my sign changes so that when I FOIL, they will cancel out. Plus, when you FOIL, you'll get a square, which cancels out the square root too. Okay? So what happens is, when I FOIL this, because technically these are in parentheses like this times this gives me the square root of x plus h squared. This gives me plus the square root of x plus h times the square root of x. This gives me minus the square root of x plus h times radical x. And this gives me negative radical x squared. So this part here on the bottom, okay, comes out to say h times radical x plus h plus radical x. So right here, this portion and this portion cancel out because one's positive, one's negative. Here, the radicals cancel, giving me x plus h. Here, the radicals cancel, giving me negative x over h times radical x plus h plus radical x. Okay? From there, I can then just reduce this down because x and negative x cancel, and h will cancel out, giving me 1 over radical x plus h plus radical x. You can also do it opposite if the radical is in the denominator spot. That's what you're going to do for homework.
Is that the new schedule up there?